Hi, my name is Hayley Daniels. I'm here to present you with a presentation of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders in cultural safety. This is called The Project. Here is my driver's license to prove who I am, Hayley Daniels. So, it is important to be respectful of Indigenous laws and kinship, as Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders usually live in a community with different laws, life expectations and customs to non-Indigenous Australians. Kinship systems determine on how one should behave to every other person. For example, how food and gifts should be divided up. Each person has a defined role, etc. Men are the hunters and gatherers, while women usually provide food for the group, child rearing and cultural obligations. The Indigenous will normally take into account of their elders when setting goals and making decisions. Indigenous people will pass on their culture and history from one generation to the next by performances, rituals and stories to keep their history alive and to teach the new generation. Aboriginals are the oldest surviving culture in the world. They have lived for approximately 60,000 years. When the British arrived to Australia, they did not take into account diversity, different cultures, and tried to force their way of living on the Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders. In 1770, the British would not recognise the rights of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders had for their land and announced Australia the land that belonged to nobody. This caused major issues with the Indigenous people, as they were the originals of Australia. The land is a fundamental to the well-being and belief of Indigenous people and is the core and spirit to their country. In 1910 to 1970, children were forcibly taken from Indigenous people, this way to try and purposely destroy the history and the way of living to the new generation. Parents did not know where their children were taken, and this was known as the stolen generation. It is important to be aware of our own and other people's culture in the work practice. This way we have more understanding and can respect and help support our clients making good decisions without placing any judgment. As a counsellor, we need to identify culture safety issues within the workplace, such as language barriers. We may need interpreters or to speak more slowly. Body language. We do not look Aboriginals or Torres Strait Islanders in the eye, as this can be known as disrespectful. And our own customs and beliefs and the client's customs and beliefs. Some effective ways of communication with Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders is showing active listening, empathy, personal space, and limit eye contact with them directly. With some understanding of the Indigenous culture and belief, we are able to provide a relationship of trust and good rapport. We need to engage with Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders, with it being with colleagues or interpreters, referring them on to the services that may be more suitable for them. Some strategies we can use when consulting Indigenous communities is employing Indigenous people for receptions so that people can immediately be aware of the culture diversity. We can also hire Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders to provide services, hang paintings, arts around the building to make Aboriginals and Torres Strait Islanders feel more welcome. Being culture aware, we need to promote and use resources such as appropriate sign languages, body languages, interpreters, and letting family members feel welcome and be a part of the counselling experience. We can assure we are providing the best care to our clients is to make sure all our staff is cultural competent, all staff to have the correct training to ensure cultural competence and an exclusive workplace. As a counsellor, all counselling sessions need to be documented correctly to ensure the client and counsellor safety. As a counsellor, we need to relate to the client as an individual and not generalise them by their culture, as we need to understand that not all people will follow the same culture and history. We must not place any judgment or discriminate the client.